Hello, hello. How's it going, Celery? Great to table. Hope you guys are doing well. Bit of chaos still in front of me. Just switched off the work PC, switched on the streaming PC, so yeah, get everybody up to speed. What's happening today is we are painting the sky. So already assembled him and the bases. I'll show you that in a moment. Just wanna fix up a palette because this is all the tests I was doing for a black color scheme, and after the 5th attempt I think I've got something that would work. So lack of music. Yeah, I went for something more sci-fi-ish, but it's more synth wavy. I like it. Something different. Let's throw up that bit there. Put my phone somewhere. Like I say, there's more chaos. Bit of a rough day. Well, not so rough, but yeah. Just trying to get everything ready. Painting black armor for the first time. All the nice things that we get to experience in the hobby. So, yeah, the emo marine. Let's just scoot that to one side. Put the razor in the mouth, so that should be a good idea to do. Well, hopefully I'll nail it as well this time. And it's just got a piece. Should I go completely skew? Lay that on the palette. One thing I did forget to get is the hairdryer. Alright. Don't know about nailing everything the first time. I just struggle silently in the background, and then when it comes to showtime, I give off the illusion of acting like I know what I'm doing. Let's put this massive roll away. I want to do actually is quickly go grab the hairdryer. I want to start airbrushing. I have to put everything to the side. So let me quickly go do that. BRB. Baby. Alright, let's quickly plug this in. Just so that it is ready. So, hope everybody had a nice weekend and a Monday. Monday's out of the way for the week, so that's always good. Usually the roughest day of the week. This weekend is scoot to one side. Alright. That there. Alright, let's show this model a little bit. Just so that everybody kind of knows what's going on. Obviously he stands on this little piece of terrain. So nothing too over the top for the gaming base. So this is a giveaway model for our South African Discord community. How's it going, Madness? Doing well. So I always like the idea of having a gaming base and a display base, but I don't like the idea of having the circle present on the base. So what I did was green stuffed everything to the side so that it's actually separate, and then I can do the same thing with the display base. Let's just zoom that out a little bit. So when I drop this onto the display base, that also sits nice and flush. And then I'm still going to do the backdrop as well. And then there's a backdrop as well. Still want to cut it a little bit shorter maybe. No, I'm not going to do a painted backdrop. I tried that over the weekend and failed and failed and failed over again. It's one of those things that it always looks easier than trying it on your own. So going back to one of the masters is Thamio Lanzo. He did this ultramarine paint job where he painted I'm gonna get to your rocks. Which rocks are you talking about? These little ones? Oh, these ones. That's just tree bark. It's tree bark, and I got a little bag full of ground and little stones and stuff, so put all of them. Oh, Madness driving all the way to Somerset West but not popping in by me. I hate. So he did a thumbnail now. He did basically an illustration painting of the model, but then he had like this nice explosion background and everything. I was like, okay, how the hell did this guy do it? So he designed it on the PC and then just printed it out. So it's like, okay, well, if one of the best painters can do it, I could probably just yoink somebody's digital art and cut out a section what I want and print that out and put it on the backdrop, and then it's golden. So saves me a lot of effort. It is going as a giveaway, so I don't want to go too over the top. Trying to learn an entire new skill just for one thing. So yeah, that was the biggest hurdle. So I think this isn't a mouse pad, this is just a piece of paper. If this was a mouse pad, I would have cried. No respect. So let me just close the door again, but the cat generously opened for me, as they do just pop in and go out again. There we go. Alright, so the plan is he's primed more in grey because I don't want him to be over blue. So I'm going to take Abyssal Blue, which is a very dark blue. Go figures. So I want to kind of have that go through but still work in with the blacks, and then I can go after it and just glaze back in the blacks. And then instead of edge highlighting and doing all of that jazz with weird grays and stuff, I want to take metallics to do that, because I just think it's going to read better with the black than doing it with grays and whites. So we'll see if that works. So, could do some airbrushing. I want this to be a nice thin glaze. is moving. Let's reset the needle. Yeah. Give this a nice shake. So did you drop off anything nice today in Somerset West Madness? Anything we should get excited for? Or is it still hush hush, can't say anything? Okay, nothing too exciting. So if anybody's here, I think you should know who Celery is. He's doing some awesome painting on a forest druid. Doing great work on skin so far. But then he has to go into the... He's famous now, yeah, pretty much. He has to go and do a lot of leaves on the back, so fun times for him. I really have to clean up my desk sometime soon. It's getting a bit on the crazy side. Let's just put that there as well. And that there. I can go forward. You don't need to introduce it. Well, it's gonna turn into Sir Celery sometime soon, so might as well get used to it. Let's do 1/2 and see how it... Way off camera. That's looking more black and grey. Yeah, it's looking much better. Now I'm feeling more positive. The plan might work. So this is a little bit more funky and exciting. Yeah. All right. Now we're dealing with the issue. I'm painting a black model on a black backdrop. Well, there's not going to be much skin on this one. Because his face, where is his face? Somewhere. Took him off the toothpick, so let's see. doesn't have a lot of skin. Yeah. He's way, think of me, way smaller than my pinky nail. Small boy. He's small boy. Yes, that's the emo guy. So it's his colors, so I still have to paint white as well. It's gonna be fun. And then I still have to do one red trim shoulder pad, which is extra fun. So yeah. Okay, I feel much better about this now. So now the question is, how bright do I want this to be overall? Pretty happy with that. Yeah, no, it's way not a lot of skin at all. Alright, that's good. Is there anything else we can spray on this? Not really. Let's just dump this and sort of clean out the airbrush. Where's my little water bottle? Using everything today. Black and blue ink. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna, because at the moment there's enough, sort of enough of a transition on its own. Still, like squeeze in more shading at some of the parts. I think I'll do that. Just to bring it back more, to a black armor. Wink. So, music. Playing vibes, maybe. It's lacquer. I will see how lacquer it is for how long. So, can always share, man. Alright. I think that's fine for now. So switch off the compressor. Screw this. Doing mad juggling today. Alright. Other thing is, I want to try and see. It's not gonna help. I know why it's probably gonna be way. I don't know. Let's just stick to this rainbowed background. How's this other side look? That's a bit other colors. Should be better. Yeah. Alright. So I'll sort out the arms at the other time. What I wanna do. I remove some paint there. That's cool. Anyway. So, where did I put this abyssal blue? There you go. So what I want to do maybe is just introduce some of this abyssal blue as a lighter tone. Just a little bit here and there, and then I can do some spots with that. And let's first work on the shading. Where's black ink? Music's vibing, my friend. Take a sip of tea. It's one thing I still have to learn for on stream. Don't take big sips because then you swallow like a monster. Opi Kenobi, how you going? I'm going good. Well, I have not even opened this up yet. Very, very cool. Also, thank you for the follow earlier. Much appreciated. I think we all had a nice time on Celery's stream today. We're talking afterwards about it. Good vibes. Celery. Well, Celery had his struggle on his own today of having the benefit of having a crazy chat, not knowing what to do. So knowing him personally, it was quite funny because I know he gets very preoccupied with one thing or the other, so that was fun to witness. Yeah, and I think it's the bittersweet of everything. What we tried to do here. You can always say, "Oh no, I had so many people watching, but nobody was chatting along." But then, when you have a lot of people chatting, then things get very fun and confusing and more enjoyable for everybody to watch as you try to struggle through it. Yeah. Let's just make a glaze out of this. Just want to bring in some of these shadows a little bit more. We won't say you missed too many puns. You missed some puns, but not too much. Alright. Just wicking off some of the excess. I will use it as a holder at some time, but for this moment I think it's quite nice because it can still get underneath everything. So I got this one as well, but then I unfortunately have to place his feet inside of the putty, but I'm not too keen on now. Yeah. But see, Obi, the one thing for us down here, it's such a joy just to have the opportunity to have all of you guys and gals just joining us on stream, because this is something totally new for us in this space down here. So even if you just have 5 viewers and they're chatting with you, or having a nice day like Celery had today, having 3 raids, sorry, and you don't know what to do with yourself, and it just makes it so much more fun. So scale is... Oh, sorry. Scale 75 is the paints I use the most. I learned with them when I started painting, so my first ever miniature what I painted was with scale paints. So I enjoy them because I do like a glazing paint style. So I know a lot of people don't enjoy them too much, but each person has the paints they like and don't like. For me, it's more a case of I use any paint I can use, get my hands on, but I also like to just know what I'm good with, so or decent with, not good with. Let's see. So yeah, no, it is that the case of that Celery. I do agree with it. Sometimes it can feel like what we're trying to achieve goes a bit under the radar, but seeing nice raids and stuff like that today is more of a bumper for our self-confidence and all of that. Okay, yeah. Now I think scale paints is well known for some good reasons and some bad reasons, but it's a different type of paint. But as soon as you get your head wrapped around it and don't use it for what it's not intended to be used as, I think you're going to be golden. So it might look like I'm not doing much, but it's just trying to get a little bit more of a black gradient back into everything. And unfortunately that is the struggle with painting black, I assume, that you can't really see much. All good, Madness. You have a luck one as well. Luck on your side. Just trying to get that little bit more contrast back in between parts. It is black armor, so you can't, or you can if you're a mad lad, but I don't have that much time to finish this model, because he's gonna have to be done and get out of my apartment by the end of this month. So I could be crazy and do some wild things, but I think it's not good for myself and trying to get it done on a deadline. So still trying something new, still trying to do a decent job on the model, but I think it's still a case of knowing what you can do and what your expectations are for yourself. Yeah, that's the other issue. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to be white. So all the arms are white. This insignia is white. Chest piece is white. Brown, more brown, more brown. So, and I also want to bump up some of these things. So I think as soon as that happens, I'm going to be singing. I just want to get this black out of the way first before I can really focus my attention on the other things, because I don't want to start highlighting and dig into my mid-tone too much, because then I'm going to have a slight issue of trying to battle to get my contrast back. This music's a vibe now. I do feel that this music is a little bit too much of the same repeat for too long. So let's just skip a little bit forward. It feels like I'm playing more a 2000s PlayStation game. Those are fun. Might have to look into Salary's recommendation soon. The one thing I am quite enjoying about doing this glaze is that the midtone is matte. All good, OP? Let's bump down my sound a little bit. So I feel like I'm starting to scream. What I enjoy about this is the midtone is matte, but the ink is obviously more satin. So when you rotate it, it kind of bleeds into this darker satin. But when you rotate it, it bleeds into the midtone again and goes into the more highlighted area, which I think is quite nice. And let's just try to get this edge a little bit more black. Calling people there, I see. Definitely more my vibes. Not the music I would listen to in my free time, but gotta play what's DMCA free. Let's go. The one interesting thing, so I don't know if you saw on that other guy's Instagram, but you always see he pre-highlights it and then the second photo is always like this shininess. He actually does an oil wash to re-emphasize the recesses, which I think is quite interesting. And then he waits for that to dry and then he does his colors over that, so he doesn't have to do the post shading after he sprayed with the inks. So kind of a big brain moment. Not really. Because check, you can, if you're smart beforehand, you can just put out the oils on a piece of paper or cardboard, and that would draw out all the linseed oil. So that's basically just dried pigment, and then you can mix it up with the artist spirits. So the only thing that happens to evaporate is the artist spirits. So you got no oil residue trying to dry. So that's one way how you can speed that up a little bit. Now, luckily for me, this is starting to look better. I think as soon as I do a little bit of highlighting, start popping more. And I think still that little bit of a shine on the blacks is working for me. But unfortunately I'm gonna have to varnish this, but I think I'm gonna do a satin varnish just so it helps the black and white catch a little bit more light. Because it's not gonna be a display piece, hopefully somebody would use it for gaming. so might as well take advantage of that. What do you guys think? I don't know if it could work. But yeah, I think I should actually do a pin wash afterwards or sometime, just so I can re-emphasize all these recesses and stuff, because he's got a lot of bits and bobs that has space for recesses to be shaded. Set and varnish, yeah. Oh, poor Chris. Poor Chris. Big place. Oh yeah, so I wanted to ask, when I talk, is my voice delayed with my voice or not really? Because something interesting happened today. So usually at work or while I'm working, I watch Soul stream on 720p. So then his voice gets more forward than his actual. I don't know which way is it around. Is it? I can't remember. One way or the other. But when I switch it over to 1080p, then it's fine, and it doesn't like get out of sync, which is very, very strange for me. So I was just wondering. That makes sense, because I do minimize sometimes when I have to be double checking stuff on one screen to the other one. That makes sense. Alright, let's sneak in some black there. Alright, so I'm gonna have to pull out your recommendation song. What is this? Thing is fucking driving me insane. Let's see. See, but I don't have Spotify Premium, so I'm gonna be getting ads in the whole time, aren't I? What do you think? Am I gonna get ads if I display that? Do you have Spotify Premium? Let's go back to our good old faithful. Big money Jola. Mad lad. So yeah, unfortunately one thing I am realizing, my time slot I'm streaming in is probably the worst one. So, because Miniature Den's streaming, who else? Rush for Hire, Alchemist, a few other big ones. And I do stream after them, or well, I start streaming after them, so the think your YouTube, okay, I'll look at that now. Just sort out displays. The chances of somebody leaving their stream to look at what I'm doing, very slim. It's not the end of the world, but no. I'd like to have more of you guys on, yeah? Yeah, no, I think that's the issue, because you're in the nice slot. For everybody still waiting for everybody else to watch or start streaming, so you've got a nice time slot you're going on having there. Where my one is a bit on the poo-poo side. I'm not complaining. Still enjoy everybody's company, yeah. It's not like I'm gonna leave my day job to do this. I like my day job, so I won't ever complain about having more of you all to chat with. One funny thing, I don't understand why. I know Space Marines are all castrated and stuff. Why do they need like a massive armor plate right by their schlong? Does that make sense? Protect something that doesn't need protecting? The egos. Must be. Let's see. I don't know why I'm doing so much work on this, but it's pretty much gonna be in, not be visible because the backpack's gonna be over this piece. I think I don't wanna mess about too much on the shoulder pads. I think the oil wash should sort out that most of that. What I can do now, I can just touch up all the rubbery parts. Just look around still. I can still darken this up. Some shading in there. I must say, for not streaming almost for a week, not going too much off camera. Which I can't say for you, Celery. My head might come in more in the way, but not bad. Just messing around. You are painting a fully assembled 75mm, so I can't give you too much crap. Potato. Yeah. Right now I'm with the problem where I can do some highlighting, but I still want to do. Okay, well, that's not going to be too much of an issue actually. I wanted to do a pin wash afterwards. Let's have a think here. Just make that nice and dark. shadow areas a little bit more darker. Yeah, it's looking better. That's about, but I don't even think you're going to be able to see that. All good. Alright, still wanna take a sip of tea. Fat vapes. So unfortunately my tea is already cold. Came to realize I'm already streaming for an hour almost. Still want to look at that playlist you sent for Celery. We might have to do that very soon. Let's just make this a little bit more black. We'll sort that out later. Let's send out this place a little bit more. Now the one fun thing about doing pin washes is I can take a orange, which is usually very poo-poo in acrylics, is very strong in oils. I can just do a pin wash in these vents and that would be this nice hot orange color instead of a very dirty orange if I was using acrylics. So I think I'm gonna use some of the oils and stuff just to help me out on a few things. I've got all the tools for it, so I might as well try it out. So it's a very shaky. And enough, I did eat enough today, like someone. I don't know how you painted today, Celery, without eating since yesterday. Because I would be shaking all over the place. How many hours left, man? How many hours? Oof. Almost there, almost there. Rather you than me. Oh, it get very cranky. Experience the full wrath of crankiness. I don't know why I'm really shading this. On the box it shows it more of a silvery metal. I'm actually more inclined to do some silver true metallics instead of just that, which I think would bring some interest actually into the model and the backpack. I think I'm rather gonna do that. So dehydrated because he didn't eat. Not following. You get dehydrated when you don't drink water. Am I missing something? Still gonna do these spaces as well. And I was even added a little skull there. Yeah, no, that's not a good thing. I think that's one thing I do not like about fasting at all, is that it can give a person a nice migraine. Just pop that back in there. I'll check on something. Alright. So what I want to do now, what time is it? 1 hour in. I'm really feeling the need to do the shading first and then the highlighting and everything. So let's zoom out. Let's grab a little dry palette and do a little bit of a oil wash. Let's take the almost the one clean one I have left over. I have to clean out those palettes sometime soon. And with it being black armor, I don't want to just use straight black. I want to use a Payne's grey or something, which is a nice dark blue green. So I do now have a little bottle with that in. There you go, Payne's grey. And let's grab some more. That. Let's get one hit in before the toxins consumes me. But you guys only like usually fast for what? How many hours? Usually from the evening to the thanks for the lurk, muzzle. I'm still trying to get emotes. I don't know what to do. What do you do with Ash's painting? Yeah. That's what you guys do. I don't know what to do for emotes. Because I'm not a very expressive person on stream. I'm much more theatrical off stream. And I think it's not in my, I don't know. It's a bit too chilled for me. Not a very active person when I paint. So let's get a very messed up brush to mix this with. Which brush can I use to mix this up? I'm gonna bump this can off. Let's use the oil wash I'm gonna make. This one is nice and Poo poo. This brush has seen better days. So it's not a fully black oil wash. It's a Payne's grey, so it's more of a dark blue. In this case would help us a lot. This is way too thick still. I want this to run very nicely. Now the one thing with oils is, especially with your primary colors, is unfortunately in artist paints, the more expensive you go, the better it is. So the white tubes of Winsor & Newton would probably be the easiest for us to get here, as where the other ones is going to be a lot harder to find and a lot more expensive. Celio has not seen this in action yet, so might as well show him. So it's a wash consistency, so I want that just to run off. And before I do that, I still have to give it a satin coat before I do that. So before I forget, let's put that to the side. Zoom out, grab our satin varnish. That's decal softener, that's gloss varnish. Nope, nope. Where's my satin varnish? Do I even have satin varnish? I don't think so. Let's not go too crazy with just pure gloss, so we're just gonna mix matte varnish and gloss varnish so that we can get a satin varnish, because you don't want the gloss varnish to be too smooth, else it's gonna be running over everything. Who's sending messages the whole time? Get out of here. Decals to do. So what you can do with the decals is, I think some of the decals you can soften with hot water, or like nice, not boiling water, but nice enough that it actually goes off from the sheet, and then you can just set it in place depending on how the surface is. Then you're gonna need maybe a decal softener or something in that realm, but then at least you got something to work with where you can just use a matte varnish or a satin varnish and brush that over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know how strong these two fight against each other, so let's just put 2 drops in there. And take a little mix brush. Do a test. I don't got time for tests. YOLO. It's the only thing I know what to do. Here we only YOLO. No tests. Probably switch on the compressor. I'm gonna spray it over here, then it's easier, because then I can get a quick coat. cover everything. And before that starts to cool in places, it's gonna grab the hairdryer and dry that off. And then we're just gonna do the same for the backpack thingy maboober. And before that dries, it's the one interesting thing always with black when you got the same when you prime something, got a much more shiny surface for everything to reflect off of. I just bring this nice, I don't want to say like color shift because it's not color shift, it's just the light playing off of the black. So with it being black and white at the end, I think I'm gonna go for a satin finish because it's just gonna help bring in so much more life into it. So if I'm gonna matte everything down, it's just gonna look very dull. So we can see where the highlights was placed. The light bouncing off does give this other more reflective feel for it. So use varnishes and stuff to your advantage. Might as well if you have them. So yeah, I'm more happy with that now. Then let's just clear this out. Thanks, man. Yeah, I think it's one of those cases or colors where I like all my stuff to be very matte, but sometimes having a little bit of a of a satin finish to something does help a lot. Hey Moskmoff, glad to have you here. I know you said last week you felt very guilty of mostly only catching soul streams. Yeah, no, that's what I wanted to say. You got the kiddos, so you got a good excuse. But glad to have you here. So I was quickly cleaning out my airbrush. And we're gonna do some bin washing. And do I have to switch off the compressor? Let's do that. Also, I'm gonna get a fright sometime when this thing decides to kick off. I feel model. Well, luckily it should be your model. You got almost 40 other people also competing for the model. And I think I still want to be cheeky enough to ask Richard if we can do the same. What Deno said last time, including himself into the lucky draw. So if I win my own model, I get to keep my model. Which I think wouldn't be too bad of a deal. So let's just see it from a distance. Ah, it's still reads very nicely. But I think still I won't do that. I would like to get some of my stuff out of here. So let's just remix this. Let's just make a little other place it for this brush. So let's see. Do I want to see if I have a fairly cheap new brush that I can sacrifice for this? So obviously don't place this brush you're going to be using into your wet palette. Rather try to thin out the point just with the mineral spirits. Also you're going to have some issues. With mineral spirits and water doesn't mix very well. Obviously I can still go up afterwards and just clean that off. I think I want to take just a little bit neater approach and take a finer brush. Let's grab an army painter brush as well. It's going to take a army painter brush. I want a nice thin point. See if we can get in there. Obviously with it being black on black you won't see too much, but you'll still see something. This might take a little bit of a while, but it's way faster than the other options. Let's see if we can see there. Are you finishing the skin? It's like what? Finishing the skin? What are you talking about? No, you're pretty much on a crunch to finish and that model in this week. People joining tomorrow be like, what the hell, man? Hillary doesn't got any time to play around. Right, so like, do you have makeup sponges? I can. Used to neaten things up a little bit. Once this starts drying a little bit. Of course I have makeup sponges, must know. Zoom, there we go. Touching around these little bits and bobs. Put bottom edge. Top. Do this one as well again. It's a little foot plate. What else? I think anything else in front? Those pieces, we did that. This. Shaded. And then the same for this one. Very nice, very nice. And on this, I'm gonna do some of these panel lines. Those fins I want to keep. And that. I did that very poorly. And just around the little room. There we go. Thanks, man. Yeah, he's got a crazy backpack. He's got even little boosters on his legs down there. So he's all jetpacked out. Which is quite cool. And also Beef Kobe. Welcome to the stream that you have here. So let's see if my ingenious plan is gonna work. Let's just get some auto spurts out to clean this brush. Don't need too much of that. Getting out any of these residue. Now, if I was a little bit more clever beforehand, I could have maybe drained some of the linseed oil out of the oil paint, so it's only the auto spirits that has to evaporate, but it's not that big brain moments. And let's quickly see what I have here. It'd be easier just to pull out this whole drawer. Cadmium orange. Cadmium is usually opaque. So let's see how this goes. If my big brain moments, it's gonna be a win for me. Let's clean out this little mixing brush as well. And this one I want to have a little bit more punchy. Of that caked up business. It's my little pokey thing. Don't need too much. that. Maybe not be a bad idea, maybe just to do some white in the little grooves. I think I might do that quickly before we apply this. So let's just put that to the side, grab some white ink and some airbrush flow improver. Or we can even do one better. Although white ink I know would quickly do the job. Let's move all of that to there. Grab the titanium white from Monument Hobbies, because this is very opaque, luckily in our case. And let's just crack that open, put that on our palette. And mix some airbrush flow improver with it, so it runs off the brush a little bit better. We can grab our 0. Wait. And we don't have anything on this guy, so I don't know why I'm pulling him out. We have stuff on this guy. Let's see. Not too worried about having a little bit of a bleed over. Just trying to get this to an angle that I can brush in. Just double up on this, put some white ink with this. Rather join two mediums than try to struggle just with one. Stop grabbing the marine. Alright. Let's see. Much better. And these usually go a lot easier because it doesn't want to stick to the erased areas. Not too much. That goes on a lot easier. This acts as almost as a nice whitewash. Yeah. Especially if you're trying to do something like this in white, you're not too worried about that little bit of a overbleed, because this is in a jetpack. I don't think you're too worried about having just straight lines being highlighted. And because it is gonna shrink a little bit as it dries. It's gonna leave some more recesses open for us. We've got these nice big vents. We can dump a lot of white in here because it is gonna shrink down a fair amount. As I'm poking this thing is starting to move. And then I also want these little fins or veins. Yeah. Let's pull that one down. So in other news, which is quite interesting for me, I only car sports I actually watch is Formula 1. But unfortunately not live the whole time. I'm not gonna pay to watch it, so I only basically watch the highlights and the qualifying highlights. So today's news is that Valtteri Bottas, that drives for Mercedes, is moving to Alfa Romeo, which is very interesting to say the least, because they did not have a very good season this year. So I'm quite interested to see what happens next year. And then for some reason everybody's a George Russell fan going to Mercedes, but to be honest, I don't think he's that great of a driver. I know he's driving for Williams, but I don't know. I think that rumor picked up too much steam, and I don't know. Not a very big hype person, so it's Williams, like the what do you call it? Can't remember. Drink? What are you laughing about, Celery? Get out of here. So that is G Jetpack highlighted. I was thinking there was some, after showing the events on the booties, there's actually some vents here. Now the only derpy thing on this model is this vent here, which isn't sculpted all the way through like this one is. I went online and looked at pictures, and all of them doesn't go all the way through, which is kind of poo-poo when it's a... And I understand you're not going to see it when it's on the table, but no. Bit of a derpy moment. Anyways, also. That's that. Oh, one thing I wanted to do after painting the pack is another recess piece on the tips of those wings. This is an acrylic brush, so don't freak out, it's not the artist's spirits. Also would be not having the best of times now. Let's just clean that out. Hey Space, thanks for the lurk. Just as your comment on today's comment on Celery stream today. I think Celery still has the looks today between all the brothers. It's my opinion. Fight me if you disagree. Thanks, Celery. I think we stick to that. This is bromance for the win. It's true. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna give a quick go with the hairdryer because the... Where's this bloody bottle? Too much shit in front of me. This does kind of reduce the drying time, or increases the drying time in paint, so I'm just gonna have a go with the hairdryer on it for a moment. Alright. So let's see if this works. This doesn't have to turn out perfect if it's a little bit muted. It's fine. This saves me effort down the line to try and get a Nice glazing there. It's going to shrink as it dries. It's fairly thin. At least it looks a little bit derpy now, but it's going to work later on. It gives me some of a foundation to work off from. Then I can make it more fiery and hot. As anybody who's painted orange would know, this is a pain if you're trying to not mess up everything. Orange is death color. Exactly. So it's the same idea with, even though I'm flooding the area, it's still gonna evaporate all that white spirits. So then you're only left with the pigment, so you're gonna have a little bit of a stronger color. And with it being oils, it's not gonna lose the vibrancy that much as it dries. Luckily that's over the black part, so you won't see that derpy mistakes. I'm being a little bit overconfident with that. But luckily it doesn't cover very well over the black parts. So easy peasy, working with some colors to help us out. This oil orange is very strong compared to acrylic oranges. Ta-da! Easy peasy, and then I can just clean that off. This nonsense I did here. So yeah. So if I zoom out a little bit, much better. So I'm not too keen on messing with the acrylic metallics now over this while this is still wet. Let's just rinse off this brush before, or we can still save it. Usually I just have to get that out there. Let's work that brush in that little bit of white spirits. You're gonna struggle to get everything out in this little brushes. As long as you always get a clean brush or clean tissue paper, then you should be fine. And then before all of this hardens, you should just wipe off all the excess and stuff around, and then just scoop that out. But when I want to use this again, it's more or less clean. And then I can just do the same with the other thing. Some people do is just use tinfoil over the whole thing, but yeah, I don't have tinfoil at the moment. And then that's clean. And we can pop that back into the drawer. That to the side. And we can just wait for that to dry. So it's a lot of fluid in that little recess. I don't want to go in there with the hairdryer and run the risk of popping out all that, out of all the little vents. I think as soon as I start highlighting and the white armor, then that black armor would really pop. So obviously that little crow thing on his shoulder is also going to be white and stuff like that. So, right, so this brush has to completely dry, so let's just put him completely out of the way. So what I'm thinking for the metallics is, let's pop out my metallics. Not that. Let's just pull that out anyways. Yeah. So I'm gonna use my below ones. So what I'm thinking is, got this black metal, so I want to do kind of like a stipple edge highlight on that, and then highlight that with these what? This heavy metal, and then maybe we can do some spot highlights on the very tips with this. yeah, these. What I also can do is, if I want to be very dark, I can use this on some spots. So what some people usually do on black metal or metallics, when they're introducing, say, edge highlights or stuff, they would take a very rich red brown. So in this case, this is almost something like that, and put that almost as the chip layered, and then put in a reflective part over that, so it looks like it's the metal shining through underneath the paint or whatever you want to do. But I don't think that's going to be too necessary for this. We'll still test it though. Test it. So, but what I'm feeling at the moment is more in this line. So if we pull out him next to that, you'll see that you got something very close to that black metal. And if I do want to make this darker, I can still add a little bit of a black ink or very dark blue ink. I think in this case we'll be fine. So just going all over, trying to, where we see these spot little highlights, just introduce these chipping and use chipping as our edge highlights, so that it differentiates the edges to the very highlighted areas. I think that I would only do after I do a bit of a matte varnish over this once it's dried. But then I would maybe just do a less shiny varnish. But I can do the other parts. Applying paint over matte varnish is much easier than satin or gloss varnish. Just because how the varnishes are created. So matte has a lot more ridges in the finish, where gloss is more smooth. That's why you get this shine effect. I think I'm liking the outcome of this so far. It's not the craziest black metal, but I think still, as soon as I get the other parts painted and you get these little glimmers of the edges, it's gonna start popping a lot more. Thanks, man. So the only issue I have when you do gloss varnish or satin varnish when you do oils is you don't know what's wet and what is just shining. And you definitely do not want to varnish over wet oils, because then you're just gonna have a bad day. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of back and forth because I still have to do the white armor, so I'm gonna do something in the similar approach of what I did for the black. Is just use a off-white blue and do a white highlight with that with the airbrush, just to get some of that in place, and then use a pale blue glaze to reinforce the shades. So I think something like this over white. Camera showing it more green than anything else. But yeah, if we look at the box art, you get a little bit better sense of what they do with it. So on the arm you can see it's outlined with blue. I'm gonna try to get the same effect for that, and then the same on the helmet and all of that jazz. So I think it's gonna be a mix of true metallics and non-metallic. So I still want to do the same with the backpack and all that. Just push it a little bit further. Because yeah, I can paint it more of a extreme reflections and everything all over the place, but I don't think that would be so nice for the person who actually plays with it. So if I painted it in something like this, where it's like crazy reflections and everything going all the place, it's fine for displaying purposes, but I don't think it's so good for gaming and stuff. And some models you just have this kind of more road you want to follow when you're painting them, so oh, that's just my fault. If I want to paint it like that, then I should just paint it how I wanted to paint it. So that's actually my recipe for that other little belt buckle thing. So that little doodad, can use that with that. What else? Oh. Hey, Aerox. How you doing? I keep on wanting to saying Earth because it's like, in my mind I like expect a R-A-T in there, and then I want to say Earthox, but Aerox. Hope you're doing well. Unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to wait for this all to dry if I want to attempt even touching this, because it can go a bit sideways. So all of that has to dry, and I do have the humidifier running in the room as well, because I was thinking I was going to do a lot more glazing than I ended up doing. But yeah, I think I do like the satin finish on the black, just helps out everything. So yeah, when that's on there. The air dry does help, but the thing with the oils is Let's see if I can actually get in there. You can still see it's very wet and stuff, so especially in those little divots there, I'm just scared if I take a hairdryer to it, it's got so low surface tension, it's just gonna wanna jump out of those recesses. So it's not like paint that sticks nicely or acrylics that sticks nicely to the recesses. That's the only thing I'm worried about. So what we can do actually before all of that dries completely is take out all our makeup sponges as I go through this drawer like a gremlin. Little goblin. So let's take these little sponges and let's just see if we got any major points that we kind of went too wild on, which I don't think we actually have too much on this, to be honest. I think this is actually fine as is, it's just this little part where you can see that shine bleed over a little bit too much. Obviously we don't want to go into the recess or else it's gonna suck out all of that paint. So like there where it's a little bit of a massive drop next to the point, I can just pick that up. Because else that happens, we completely remove the oil out of the recess. Joy. So oils is fun to do and all, but you have a little bit of a oof moment like that, then it kind of grinds your gears. Yeah. Alright, I'm not gonna bother fix that one up. I'll rather sit with a orange ink and then just go over all of them, because I got that strong base underneath instead of trying to fix everything very meticulously. That's fine. Let's see, maybe we can do something with the bases so long while that dries. Still got some time. So for everyone who joined later today, this is the plan with this model. So it's a giveaway for our community Discord, the Wildstorm Discord. So it's mostly South Africans, but if you are a international person outside of the SA community, always welcome to join up as a trial member, and if you like what you see and stuff like that, you can always join up. But this is a giveaway for us. So still got to do the backdrop under the back, and that model is about yay big. I still want to trim the top a little bit down, so obviously that the piece would be compliant with gaming and as a display piece, because we are a mixed bag of everyone doing different things. So I wanted the base to work for gaming and display. So I took green stuff, sculpted that all around against the little piece so that the model stands on top, and if you want to play with the game, it's as simple as removing it. There's magnets holding that in place. And when you pull out your gaming base, you can just slot that in and everything sits nice and flush. Almost seamless, but not entirely. So let's see. There is a very minute gap, but if you look at the model, it looks like it's all part of the same thing. So if you're a gamer, you can use it on the gaming base. Or if you're feeling extra spicy, you can pop it back onto the display base after you've done your gaming. That's the idea behind it. Because I always like having gaming bases on like display pieces, but I don't like the idea of having this fat circle with this black rim poking out from the piece. So luckily this model has that little terrain piece on it. So instead of just putting the whole base on the plinth, I just took the piece of rubble he's standing on. So I haven't seen that anywhere. I can't remember, but it was my big brain moment. Unless somebody can show me a picture of somebody who did that before me, please do. But yeah, what I'm feeling like is maybe we can get some work done for the bases. But then it's going to be a lot of airbrushing again. I don't know if I'm too keen on airbrushing now. Let's just put that there. There's my little thing. And I said with being magnetized, and just put it on a lid, and I don't have to bother with blue tack or anything. Alright. So let's do some things. Let's just see. Got a very grey concrete wall. Too keen on. Maybe no. Let's look into my drawer of paints. I'll come back so. Alright, let's see. I had a feeling that I did have a rubbery color, but I don't think I do actually. So I'll take some Thor brown and put that over and then do some washes over that. So first of all, is this actually open? Yes, it is. Let's put this just a little bit more out of the way. So let's do, rather just do some airbrushing. It's going to be quicker than trying to layer that up. one thing I forgot to do, but I can do it now. So I was doing a lot of fine detail stuff with the airbrushes today. I have to kick up my air pressure again. So let's put away these oil mixing brushes aside and take all of the brush I used. This one. The airbrush goes skrrr. Because this is not a high water with a nice little flat cap, I tend to do is just take a glove just to block the air. It is a little bit speckly, but that's fine because it's being concrete. Speckle might help us a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. That there. Just near my camera shift a lot. Okay. Let's just give this a go with the hairdryer. A little bit of a sandstone look to it. Getting angry sounds from my headset. It's not good. see. Let me know if this is too loud or not. Is that livable? Not too loud. Alright, cool. So I just want a decent coat on this, and I have to check on what my headset battery life is. Because unfortunately I can't plug it in from where I am. Okay, that's good. Gonna say now, actually pull it out. Actually a very interesting color. I didn't think it would look like that. It's more like almost like a modern day desert sand color. I look at this, I think like American military vehicles. It's quite cool. Let me just quickly clean this up and I can show the bases. Get all of that gunk out. Put that in there. Grab a piece of tissue. All good. Good for now. Switch that off. Back. Quick. Which brother is streaming? Is it Space or Ether? And when are they doing? Is it? What day are they doing the streams of each other? Not tomorrow. It's Thursday. Alright, now I really have to check what my headset. Screaming at me. Oh, 3%. Let's see if we can get the cable close. You can just say goodbye to everyone. Hold, stand by. Are we still here? I think we're still here. Alright. I can't come in close enough. So, unfortunately, my headset was not plugged in. So let's see. Let's move this and be a little bit easier. Don't look like a complete idiot. Just make sure this thing is still on. Ah, we're charging. Good. Alright, so let's quickly show celery. What rocks are you talking about? Big ones, the small ones? Which ones? Come on, celery. Keep asking about the rocks. I don't want to tell me what rocks you want. Got the small base rocks. Big ones. So these ones. So that's just tree. Stop screaming at me. So that's just tree bark. So don't know what to say. What else? It's just tree bark. So I just get a nice fat piece, and then I just shred those off. And then usually because it's layered, so it does the job. So if I quickly do this, so let's zoom in. So yeah, the reason they in that direction, the base kind of tells you why. So if the base is sitting on top of there, you got the line of the corner leading your eye with that slate, and then the other one pops out a little bit past the point. And when you're looking at it from the top, you've got that line following each other instead of having like them crisscross and looking all random and stuff, which is fine for the other rocks. But if you got two kind of pieces there, then it kind of helps to make your eye read the thing better. So that, and then just the little small one is just going to be the normal piece from the front of the try, that squared corner, and then when you turn the model around, you've got that little light from inside showing the skulls. So yeah, that's the idea between them, the two different bases. This is very hard because this cable is long, but not that long. Interesting times. Okay, so first we gotta wait for this to dry off completely. I feel a little bit more confident now about this black, and once all those little highlights and stuff are in place, then it would look a lot better as well. And then we still have to wait for all of that to dry. That would be dry later tonight or tomorrow. But yeah, so anywho's else. Let us see if we can do a sneaky little raid. So let's see. Ah, Andorian is live. I like Andorian. Indorian. He is very good painter. So let's go raid him. Let's just copy that out. Okay, here. You and your recommendations. No, celery. Why won't we go raid somebody who has won a golden demon? I know he's not the most energetic person to watch. He is German, so that's one thing. I'm just joking. I know a lot of very energetic German people, but he's very chill. And he's only got 5 viewers at the moment, and he's been streaming for 2 hours. So I like him. So, is it fine with you, Celery? Can we go raid in Dorian? Let's go raid him. So yeah, unfortunately, with my headset going dead and me sitting like an idiot, I just want to thank everybody for joining. Gonna stream tomorrow again. Maybe we can do some more work. Then everything would be dry, and then see if my plan of highlighting with the metallics would win or fail. So exciting times for that. Yeah, thanks for everybody for joining. As always, if you don't follow Celery or any of the other people who's maybe streaming and who's in chat, last chances to get a shout out. We all want to grow this hobby. So yeah. But anyways, let's go raid in Dorian. So raid is in progress. So everybody, enjoy your evening. Stay safe, keep well, and be kind. Most importantly. Yeah, time to raid. Cheers, everyone.